John Nobile and Irene Mitzos.
Oh, they're having fun. They're all having fun.
I've never met a person out here that gets up every morning, takes that first breath of air, as high on life as she is. It doesn't matter. It's not even just pro stock. It's everything.
The Mitzos family, too. I mean, they're having a good time, and that's what it should be. Paul Pittman, his third race, pro stock. He last raced that and had a DNQ at Indy.
And Warren Johnson alongside Paul. Didn't you love the reaction from WJ when Kurt won the Wally last week?
Yeah.
Of course, I spoke to Warren Johnson earlier. I said, so what's the difference? He says, we're really not making more power. The fact is we're getting it to the ground. And he says the key thing, and Mike, you'll really appreciate this, the new model Haas cars, wish I could get one, are 70 pounds lighter. So with the lighter race car, they can move the weight around, make more adjustments, and that's why they're having success.
And you know who has one of those new Haas cars that we'll see later on? Alan Johnson.
Yeah, and that's going to be interesting, too. Warren, 3 wins here at the Motorplex. Last time was 99. That was over Jim Yates.
And I talked with Kurt Johnson about that 70-pound weight difference, and he said, you know, our old cars used to be that way, then we made them stiffer. We thought we were smarter and we're going to make the cars better. But now the way we're running the cars today, it's better to take that 70 pounds off of the car, and as you said, Lewis, move the weight to where you need it, and it took them a while. It took them a few runs to figure it out, a few races actually. But boy, things are really starting to turn around now.
Look at Paul Pittman. 677 to a 660. Johnson's going to move up. He gets to 10th from 16th. Pittman stays where he was. But I talked to him actually quite a bit today, and he was saying if they qualify by the end of the year, that's great. It's not what they expect. Right now, they're just in learning mode. And, you know, car he built himself, pretty car. And he's happy just to be here, and national events are the place he says you're going to learn.
And Vincent Nobile, you told me earlier today just being in the top 10 would have been a great achievement for you, but now you find yourself in the top 3. Can you put this into words?
I really can't. This year has just gone so well for me and my crew. I believe we're all just in shock and living the dream out here. You know, we just made a really good run in Q2 after not getting down in Q1, so we're really happy about it, and we're going to go into Saturday and really pumped up.
You say you're really happy about it. Every time we see your family on television, they're jumping, they're screaming, they're excited. Are they always like that?
Yeah, my family's very emotional, and they're always happy. They're very proud of me, and I have the best family ever. I love them all, and I couldn't ask for any better of a family, really.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, look at this. Oh, yeah.
You know what? I wish I could go back to college, because if I had it to do all over again, I'd be a race car driver. Because remember, he's 19, a business management degree is what he's going
Exactly.
for. Has a paper due on Tuesday, but the professor said, you know what, you're going to be busy this weekend. You can have till Thursday.
I never turned any of those papers in anyway.
Did you ever,
and then my sophomore year,
graduate?
which never happened.
That's why he's doing TV.
The dog ate my homework.
You probably got away with it, too. Well, back at the line, Chris McGaha, excuse me, and V. Gaines. There's Chris. Made the field in his debut race at Indy. How cool is that? How many guys can say that? First race, and you get it into the U.S. Nationals.
Yeah, when you're hanging out with Richard Freeman, though, if you hang out with him, he's a pretty gregarious character. And they like to go fast. They like to have a good time. They like to laugh a lot.
Jimmy Oliver's building engines for that team and making some good horsepower. David Nickens helping on the setup. So, I mean, it wasn't a huge surprise that he got in the show at his first race at Indy, but it was a pleasant surprise. See him lift the front end up big time off the start.
And V. Gaines runs a 6:59. That moves him to 4th. Nice run for V. That's great. Remember, he is not in the top 10, so if he does well and gets into a good position for final eliminations, he's one of those that can really spoil everybody else.
Warren Johnson, we talk about how great of an event this is. What's your favorite memory of here at Dallas?
Winning, obviously, but no, we've won a few races here, but overall the track has been a great track. It was one of the first all-concrete tracks, so it kind of set a precedent there. Had a few issues with a narrow groove, but all in all, it's been really a good racetrack over the years.
You're a runner-up at the first race here in 1986. Can you take us back to then? How has the track changed?
Well, really, the track itself, they've ground it, you know, and smoothed it out and so forth. The track really hasn't deteriorated like an asphalt track would, and that's probably one of the greatest things about this racetrack. It's just plain consistent.
Other good things going on. You watched your son win. What was that like?
Well, any win is good all the time, so it was great. You know, it's long overdue, but we just keep working at it, and we'll succeed.
All right, thank you.
Let me reiterate what Warren Johnson told me at the end of that day that I thought was just funny, Mike. You smiled pretty much, too. I said, you can never have too much money, you can never have too much loving, and you can never have too much horsepower.
Lessons in life by the professor.
Axiom according to WJ.
That's right. And he really sums it up. There's nobody like WJ out there.
On Shane Gray, here's the stat guy.
Well, I talked to Shane Gray earlier about the struggles with his race car. He works at the shop. He tries to make the horsepower. He says they need more manpower. He's got to find some more people to help him out in the shop to make the power. He said, someday, I am determined I will win a championship in Pro Stock car. He says, I'm not here just to go rounds. I want to win the whole deal. And to see his eyes, to see the reaction, I knew he was really focused on it.
It can't be just guys. Maybe engineering smart guys like your son, Paul. Would he ever want to come over here and work?
Actually, yeah, he had a big interest in coming over with John Force Racing at one point. Mike Edwards, by the way, on the other side, lost in round 2 at Charlotte. Racing Steve Kent.
Mike Edwards fighting a real bad back. And this guy's in a lot of discomfort every time he goes down the racetrack.
That's putting it mildly, too. He's got 4 discs that are pretty much gone. Instead of dealing with that, they're basically dealing with pain management, Paul. That's how much pain that guy's in.
He ought to just, you know, bite the bullet, go get it fixed.
I don't know if it's a situation that you can get fixed.
Back surgery, which never really fixes.
I'm not sure what the cure for that is, if there even is one. So.
Well, and you wonder how long you want to keep driving given a situation like that. I mean, if you're in horrible pain, and you may potentially are doing damage.
I asked him where it started from. His family were actually masoners back in the days. So laying bricks, bending over, and that's where it all started.
Really?
I tell you, and driving a Pro Stock car with all the tire shake that they can get into, it's not. I've been through tire shake once or twice, and it's not fun, especially if you have a bad back.
How much does it impact your back, Mike, even in a Pro Stock car when you hit the chutes?
Well, I mean, obviously you're going to feel those negative G-forces. It depends on how. I mean, the one good thing is nowadays, from the beginning of Pro Stock and fuel cars, you are in the cars much better. The seats form fit you much better. Back when I started racing funny cars, you had a 2-piece aluminum seat that had Zeus fasteners in the middle. And
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, and it would go out.
Feel good.
I thought you had like a Ford Econoline and a rope.
Pretty well. That was your day, Paul. That's not mine. I'm not that old, but anyway, when you get in tire shake, I mean, I get these spasms on my back to this day. That's still messed up, and I had to put like compressed backpack foam in between the fire suit and my back to help alleviate that, which did help considerably. But nowadays, with the seats form fitting and you're in there much snugger, it is much better. But I can still tell you, if you got a bad back and you go through tire shake at a Pro Stock, it can't be fun.
How about Kurt Johnson? What a great week for him, getting that Wally last week in Charlotte. First time in what?
71 event. Gives you an idea of how that new Jerry Haas car is going to work for him. Larry Morgan on the other side, 660. That'll move Kurt up into 9th. And Larry Morgan is going to stay outside of the top 12 at 16th with a 662 with a 6.
Kurt said Sunday night they drove home down to Georgia from Charlotte. He got 43 text messages on the way home.
That's great.
Got 17 phone calls. He was keeping tabs on all of them here. And he was, when he got home, he said, I took the Wally and I walked in and I put it down on the counter, and he has teenagers. And he says, just a reminder that Dad can still get it done.
Anybody texting you tonight?
I haven't had an opportunity to check that out just yet, Paul.
Good answer.
Mike Edwards, climb out of the car with a big smile on your face despite your back issues. With all the pain you're in, what motivates you to keep going?
You know, it's countdown time. You know, you try to deal with what you can do. You just suck it up and try to do the best. And we made a lot nicer run that time. Hopefully we can got good information so we can work off that. The first run wasn't too good.
Thank you.
You know, the last time he saw the doctor and looked at his back, saw how bad it was, and says, how are you able to deal with pain like that? So apparently he has got a threshold like nobody.
Well, just getting in and out of the car is not the easiest thing to do.
Well, and we've all had back injuries, and just the simple things we do in life annoy our back, let alone getting into a race car.
Roger Brogdon and Erica Enders are up now. Brogdon currently sits 10th, so he's in the top 12, the transfer, and Enders, she's in 15th. Yeah, you got to like that, don't you?
Well, to get in that 12th and final transfer position, that's Warren Johnson with the 660 with an 8. I love the fact that from Jason Line to Warren Johnson, your top 12, 400ths of a second. That's probably going to change when Greg and Jason come up here, but right now it's plenty tight.
We turned on Erica's radio now.
You're Dave Conley. They tested 7 runs after Charlotte. They pretty much acknowledge there's a performance gap between themselves and the KB car, so they spent all day on Monday trying to figure out ways to make this car better. Not just early, not just in the middle, late, everywhere they can to try to close that gap. And that gap was what, 2500ths of a second after the first pass?
What's amazing, these two cars right here were pretty much class and field beginning of the season. Setting, you know, lap time records and speed records, and well, they've kind of fallen on hard times. But I talked with Roger.
6:58.7.
Oh, nice run by Erica.
2:09.78.
Or 9. Erica moves up 10 spots.
6:58.7. 2:09.78.
58.
58.7.
Oh, good job.
Let's go on board right now with, looks like Roger going through the gears. He had to work the wheel just a little bit. And I talked with Roger and Charlotte, and he almost had given up to the fact that, you know, we're racing for third the way that Greg Anderson and Jason Line are running right now.
Kurt Johnson coming off of the win in the last round. How much confidence does that give you coming into this weekend?
Well, it feels pretty good pulling in the staging lanes and everybody's congratulating you. You know, I had like 43 text messages on the way home. I drove home that night and I got home about midnight. It was about a 3-hour ride back to Atlanta, and God, the emails and all that. It's, man, winning's a lot different nowadays than what it used to be. And, you know, pulling through that gate 72 times, you just wonder, you know, I used to know how to win. What do I got to do? But we're pretty confident right now. You know, it's a new place, but it's a battle out here. There's so many good drivers, so many good cars. But hey, this Redline GXP, I think we got what it takes.
Did you respond to all the text messages and emails?
Yes, I did. I tried to.
There you go. Good job. Thanks.
I never got my response, Kurt. I'm just kidding. You know what else he's got, though? It's not just a Wally after 3 years, guys. Remember, it is the 60th year, the 60th anniversary here, so he's got a pewter Wally as well, and that's pretty cool.
Well, and it's the 40th one that he's collected in his career.
That's
we
another
can't
great
overlook
number,
that.
You know what? That's a naked race car.
That's that new Dodge there for Alan Johnson we were talking about.
Yeah, but it's naked.
It is.
Right now. Right now.
I bet
Sunday.
tomorrow it won't be. By Sunday.
Yeah, it's going to be run number 6 in that car for him. Ford, Charlotte, and earlier today. Stat guy?
Well, you can really see the look of the 4-door race car. And, of course, one of my favorite race cars of all times happen to have 4 doors. Maybe we'll talk about that later this weekend. But you can really see it, guys, without the graphics, the fact that that is actually a 4-door automobile.
Yeah, the driver actually sits back further in that car than he does in other Pro Stock machines. And he's back there behind that post. He's kind of almost in the back seat in a sense. And when they first started running these cars, Alan would tell you, man, it took a while to get used to it, and it impacts your vision trying to look around that air scoop out there on top to watch the tree.
I suppose that meant Larry Nance and Tom Hammond sat in the trunk there, right? Former NBAers.
Greg Stanfield trying to get in the top 12, and he does just exactly that with a 6:59. Alan Johnson moves up 4 positions as well with a 6:58. So Alan is now in 5th, and Greg Stanfield is in 8th, Jamie.